So how awesome would it feel if every single woman you laid your eyes on was attracted to you? You'd feel like you're on top of the world. You'd feel like the man. You'd feel like the star of your own movie. You'd feel like the king of your own kingdom. Now in this video, I go over a comprehensive yet pretty simple strategy that will make you way more attractive to way more women. And the good news is that some of these tweaks can be made immediately. Also, as a disclaimer, you will never be considered attractive to every single woman you meet. You could have looks like Brad Pitt, you could have muscles like Dwayne Johnson, you could have charisma like Robert Downey Jr., and you can have humor like Kevin Hart. And even if you have all four of those things, some women are just not going to like you, and that's totally fine. However, if you watch this video until the very end and implement every single one of these strategies, I guarantee you that you will be considered way more attractive than you currently are right now. So if you have a winner's mindset and you're ready to kill it, let's begin. So first things first, physical attractiveness. Now, I don't care what you heard or what you think, but looks actually do matter. They matter a lot. Sure, they're not everything, but they still matter a lot. If you're out here, you're out of shape, you don't take care of your hair, you don't take care of your beard, you don't take care of your style, you don't take care of your fitness, you will be considered very unattractive compared to the guy who does. And that man is going to get the woman, and that man or those men who do these things are going to outcompete you, and those are the men who will be desired by women, and you won't be because you lack these qualities. So let's dive into specifics. First, I'm gonna start off with the face. If you're out here with a beard that you haven't shaved in a week, you're going to have a big disadvantage to you compared to the guy who takes care of his beard, who has a nicely groomed beard. A good rule of thumb is to shave your beard and shape it up every 2 to 3 days, especially if you grow it quickly like me, because if your beard is like mine and it grows really quickly, chances are in just in a few days, it's not gonna look nice and tidy and neat. Right now, I shaved this yesterday. It looks pretty tidy, but if I wait another 2 days and record this video, you're gonna be like, this guy doesn't really take care of his beard as much. But yeah, keep it nice and tidy. If you have a beard, if you're clean shaven, that's fine. I personally prefer the beard, whatever suits you best. But I prefer a tidy beard and at the same time, a goatee to be a little thicker than the sides. Now this differs from one person to the other, but for myself, the goatee and the mustache area grow a little thicker than the rest. So I like to keep these a little thicker, and at the same time, I like it to keep it nice and tidy. I use a straight razor, make it nice and clean, so it could give me that fresh, clean look. Next is your hair. A good rule of thumb is to visit the barber every 2 weeks. If your hair is anything like mine, right, it's not super dense, it doesn't look super nice if it's not properly taken care of, like when I wake up, my hair is basically folded, then I definitely have to do that once every 2 weeks at the very least because I want to look nice and fresh. I want to make sure the barber combs it a certain way, and at the same time, the sides look nice and neat and even, not too long, not too short. But whatever it is for you, man, you probably have a different hair type from me, and even if you don't, you probably know what works best for you. But don't sleep on your hair. Like, don't sleep on taking care of your hair because it's very important. The guy who doesn't take care of his hair at all is at a big disadvantage compared to the guy who does this and properly combs it, gets a nice shape up of his beard, puts a nice product in there, pomade, whatever it is, any fizzling product or that can make your hair nice and frizzly for like curly hair and things like that. You need to definitely do your research on this, and I'm not gonna be able to give you specifics, but more likely than not, you know what looks good on you versus what doesn't. So you should definitely stick with that, make some research, and up your hair game as much as possible. Next is the eyebrows. Dude, I swear to God, there are people out there who literally are rocking a unibrow. I'm not even joking. It's like they have one eyebrow, not like separate eyebrows, but one eyebrow, one thick eyebrow. And guys who do this, this is literally an obvious sign to others that you don't really take care of yourself, which is a huge turnoff to women. I remember once, years ago at work, there was this one girl who was talking about the manager, like he was a nice guy and all, but she was just like, he literally has a unibrow. It's like from here to here. So if you're rocking a unibrow, you definitely have to fix it because not even women notice. To be honest, men notice too. When a guy looks at you, he's gonna be like, why is this dude rocking a unibrow? How come he's not shaving this area, making it nice and clean and neat? Next, we have physical fitness. Now, if you want to be considered attractive to women, you have to go to the gym a minimum of 3 days a week. This is non-negotiable. 3 times a week at the very least, because at the end of the day, you want to be in good shape for you and at the same time to attract the right women to you. When you frequently go to the gym, you'll have better skin tone. The clothes are going to fit you better. They're going to look nice and tight. You're going to have that muscular look to you. And you're just going to radiate confidence, because also when you go to the gym, your body's releasing hormones that are literally making you feel good about yourself. So a man who's physically fit is so attractive for several reasons. That's why you definitely can't sleep on your physical fitness. You have to go to the gym if you want to be a man who is attractive or a man who is considered high value by women. If you're out here with man boobs and a huge beer belly and you're eating pizza every night, you're not really going to be seen as attractive to women. Compare that with a guy who does that, you're definitely going to be seen as very attractive, because this is the representation of how you feel about yourself to the world. You're literally showing that with the level of care you put into your own body. Next point is your style. So your style, as well as your physical fitness, is the most obvious expression to the world of the level of care and value that you have for yourself. Now you might be asking, how do I be stylish? Well, you have to be strategic about it. A good rule of thumb I like to adopt is, if I'm going out, I could wear contrasting colors. For example, if I have a black shirt on and white pants, I'd have black shoes on to match the top. That's a nice contrast. Or I could wear a white shirt and black pants or dark pants. And it doesn't have to be super contrasting to that extent, but some degree of contrast definitely makes you stand out in a good way. It could be turquoise looking shirt. It could be a red looking shirt. It could be dark looking pants that contrast with the top. It could be anything along those lines. This is going to take some effort on your part, not just listening to me say it. But when you play around it for a few, when you go to the mall, to a nice store, a nice brand, you go to one of those stores and you try the clothes on, some of them will look good to you, but some of them you'll be like, okay, I definitely want this because this is making me shine. That's the look you kind of want to go with. Also, if you have a suit on, you want to make sure that your suit color, which is the top as well as the bottom, the pants, right? You want to make sure that those match, but you have a tie that contrasts that color. You want to have it in a way where when people look at you, they're like, wow, this guy, he looks really sharp. He really carefully put some thought into how he's going to wear this suit. So that's definitely going to make you stand out and be attractive. If you have average looking clothes and you just put average effort into it, sure, some women can find you attractive. Yes, that could still work. But why not catapult your success instead of being kind of successful? Why don't you catapult your success and go full in on this? You want to have that look to you where when people look at you in general, not just women, when people look at you, they're like, you're looking fresh. You look great, man. Wow, you look awesome, man. I love that coat. I love those shoes. I love that watch. I love that shirt, whatever it is. The more care you put into this, the more it will pay off in the long run. Trust me, man, trust me. Too many guys sleep on this. The other point is being able to start a conversation with just anyone, and also being a good listener, because that's huge. People at the end of the day love people who are good listeners, especially women. Most guys, either directly or indirectly, are bragging about themselves, are talking about themselves too much in order to seek the approval of the woman. Instead, what you should do is be the complete opposite. Be more of a listener and less of a talker. Now, this will come with some practice and experience, but in order to accelerate your growth, I highly recommend that you read the book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a phenomenal book. I read it years ago and it dramatically paid off. It skyrocketed my success, my social success in general, not just with women. I'll even link that down in the description below. So a good rule of thumb is, number one, to listen more than you speak to anyone, right? Do this with everyone, not just with women. Get into the habit of doing this. People will definitely like you more. And remember details about the other person. Another good rule of thumb is to ask open-ended questions. What does this mean? So first, open-ended questions are the opposite of closed-ended questions. Closed-ended questions are questions that the answer to those questions are only one-word answers, or like a yes or no answer. For example, where'd you grow up? Los Angeles. What do you do for fun? I like to read. How old are you? I'm 29. Those are closed-ended questions, and they're not necessarily bad in and of themselves, but what's better and way more powerful is to use open-ended questions. Questions that get her to think and talk about herself. And when she's talking more about herself, her interest level in you is also going to skyrocket, and that's exactly what you want. So for example, ask her questions like, so what are you most proud of? If you had $1 million today, if you won $1 million today from the jackpot, the lottery, what would you do with that money and why? Who is the most influential person of your life? and why were they that way? All of these questions will make her see you as unique and different compared to the other guys. And this isn't just different for the sake of being different. This is different because you're being authentic. You're showing a genuine interest in this girl. And that's exactly what these girls want. Most men out there, when they're out on dates with a woman, they don't ask these questions. They don't get to know the woman for who she really is. It's very surface level dating, it's very flashy, it's very loud. The car, the muscles, the drinks, the expensive spot they're taking her to. You, on the other hand, you want to show a genuine interest in her. Here's also another pro tip that can dramatically increase your success and your odds of succeeding with more girls in a very short amount of time. I'm gonna challenge you to approach 50 different attractive women who are strangers over the course of 1 month. This is going to get you to the point of being able to talk to any woman at any time, at any place. And this is just going to give you a great skill set that you'll have for the rest of your life. Now here's how you do this. First, you don't go to the bar or the club or any place of that nature in order to approach the woman, because women over there are always getting approached, and at the same time they have their guard up. What you want to do is go to a spot where the guard is down, a public spot, and at the same time a safe spot. For example, a college campus, a mall. Going to places like these is actually way more effective because the woman's guard, not only is it down because it's a more safe area, but because more likely than not, this woman is really bored out of her mind. She's trying to do this, she's trying to do that, she's trying to achieve a specific task. But if you go ahead and approach her from the front, not the back, that's the only thing that I'll tell you not to do, because if you approach from the back, you're definitely gonna creep her out. She's gonna be like, oh shit, how long has this guy been following me for? So definitely don't do that, but approach her from the front. And when you do approach her, if you look attractive and she likes what she sees, you'll probably make her day, because you never know. But anyways, the point isn't to get any of these women's numbers. The point is just to get comfortable talking to any woman at any time, in any place. So throughout the month, you are naturally going to develop the ability to use banter, to use humor, to know what to say, to have good comebacks, good playful comebacks. That's why I'm not gonna tell you what to say or how to say it, because what I tell you to say would be coming naturally from myself based upon my experience, because I did this myself when I was 21. But you, on the other hand, if you start developing this, you're gonna develop your own unique twist to it, your own unique charisma that's coming from you, that's authentic. And at the same time, when you build your skill set, at first it's gonna feel so nerve-wracking, and you're gonna be so nervous talking to the first couple girls. But after getting past, I would say like 5 girls, it just gets way easier. Even in the same day, the first woman you approach is not gonna be as hard as the 6th woman you approach, even if the 6th woman is way hotter. So you do this enough times, you're going to get to the point where eventually you will look like this person from far away who has this naturally built charisma with women when it comes to approaching them, when it comes to doing this, when it comes to doing that. So that's definitely a plus, and it will catapult your success in a very short amount of time. And also, here's why I recommend it. When you do that, when you learn how to cold approach, it is the hardest method to approaching a woman. That's why if you get the foundation right by doing it right now, you will have mastered the ability to cold approach women, which is the hardest type of approach because there's no social proof. She doesn't know who you are. She doesn't know who values you. She doesn't know how high value of a man you are. But if you do that and you get it out the way, number one, you're gonna have the skill set for the rest of your life. Number two, you're going to develop natural charisma. Again, it's not about the numbers that you get. Out of those 50 women, you probably will get a few numbers, but don't focus on that. Just focus on the ability to talk to any woman at any time, in any place, and it will benefit you so much. Don't sleep on it. Number 3, mental and spiritual attractiveness. Women are super attracted to men who not only know how to think, but also men who stand for something. When I say know how to think, I specifically mean that men whom, when asked a question about something or when dealing with something, it shows that they're dealing with this thing from thought patterns that are coming from their own selves, as opposed to generic thought patterns from their parents, from their society, from their culture. You have accurate and clear thinking, and whenever something is thrown at you in life, you handle it with proper judgment. You show good judgment. Women are super attracted to that. A woman is super attracted to a man whom, when she is asking him his stance on something or his opinion on something, he can stand for it. And even if she disagrees with that stance, if that stance is well thought out and it makes sense, and at the same time it reflects accurate judgment, she will definitely find that attractive. Let me just give you a hypothetical example of myself. If a woman right now were to ask me about what my dream job is or was, which actually, now that I think about it, I haven't been asked that. But if I were to be asked that, I would legitimately respond with something along these lines. I would say, although right now I work as a pharmacist, and there are opportunities as a pharmacist in a clinical setting, and opportunities for growth and opportunities for recognition, I personally don't have a dream job because I do not dream of labor. Sure, those opportunities are good, but I personally believe more in working for myself as opposed to working for someone else. I believe in being able to make passive income and actually actively able to change society, to change people's lives. I believe much more in that than I do in working a 9 to 5 and working 40 hours a week and selling my soul to a job. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with having a job or with working 40 hours a week, but I personally just don't believe it's for me. And I believe what is actually for me is working for myself and making passive income and actively being able to do the things that I actually want to do. The new activities that I want to take on, the places I want to travel to, the people I want to meet and connect with, all these things. So you see that right there? Although the girl might not necessarily agree with that, or you even watching this might not agree with that, but you probably can't help but think that what I just said right there comes from accurate judgment and at the same time shows clear thinking, even if you don't agree with it. Now, in terms of your spiritual attractiveness, what I specifically mean here is for you to be passionate about something. When you're really passionate about something and you talk about that thing with so much passion, even if the other person doesn't necessarily like that same thing, the fact that you're so passionate about it will make that other person like you more and respect you more times than not. Women are really attracted to men who are very passionate and have something like that going for them. Me, for example, right now, I'm super passionate about personal development. I could talk your ear off for hours. I could go on and on and on about how much I love it, what I've learned, what are my favorite books, what courses I like the most, what gurus I've learned from, this and that. Now, chances are a girl, even if she's not necessarily into personal development, she'll still have respect for me because of the fact that I'm passionate for something and I stand for that thing. That's really, really attractive to women. When you're a passionate guy and you're talking about the thing you're passionate about with so much conviction and she can just see it in your eyes, that is super, super, super attractive to women, and watch them literally tell you that they found you so much more attractive when you open your mouth about those things. You just watch. Number 4, emotional attractiveness. Women are very attracted to men who have a degree of emotional strength and emotional vulnerability. Now, vulnerability here doesn't necessarily mean what you probably think it means. It's not about crying all the time and being this weak, soft dude, this overly soft dude, this overly sensitive dude. No, that's not what it means. What vulnerability simply means is your ability and your acceptance of yourself. Your acceptance of yourself and your ability to be present and totally okay with people not liking you for being yourself. Now, I did upload a video on this and I'm even gonna link it in the description below. It's literally my last video, but the gist of it is 3 things. The 3 ways to be vulnerable are by being authentic, which comes from releasing control, which comes from being outcome independent. So the main focus is actually outcome independence. When you actually achieve that level of becoming outcome independent, you will naturally radiate this release for control that will make you authentic. And women are super attracted to that. That is vulnerability, because it's like this. It's like, this is who I am, and if you're not accepting me for me, that's totally fine, but this is still who I am. It's not that you're verbally saying this, it's more so that that's just the vibe you're giving off. And trust me, dude, women could pick up on these things. Women pick up on everything. They just have a way more subtle way of knowing it and expressing that they know it. But trust me, they know these things like 120%. And also, I'd highly recommend you watch that video on the power of vulnerability, which was my last video, because it really will benefit you a lot. Not just that, it's going to lead you to a more free and less restricted approach to your dating life. And that's definitely going to catapult your success and make you way more attractive to way more women. And as for emotional strength, women find it very attractive when a man is able to handle the powerful emotions that life throws at him, especially the bad, powerful emotions. Because think about it this way. Imagine there's 2 different guys. Guy number 1, guy number 2. Guy number 1 hates his job. He's complaining about it every single day. He's not doing much to change it. He's in horrible shape. He gets shit-faced drunk several days of the week. He has a huge beer belly. He's always complaining. He's gossiping about the people at work and about his friends as if he's a little girl in high school or junior high school. He's broke as a joke, and he just has all these negatives going for him. Now compare that with guy number 2, whom currently, Even though he is not enjoying his job and he's looking for a new job, but he still has a very positive mindset. He has a positive mentality. He's starting to apply for new jobs and he's starting to figure his way around things. After finishing work, even though his job sucks, he forces himself to go to the gym even though he doesn't want to do that because that is his duty. He is in great physical shape. He has a positive mindset. Occasionally he would complain about work because he really doesn't like it, but he's actively trying to get out of the situation. And not just that, even in the rare occasion when he does complain, he immediately looks for a solution instead of just focusing on the problem, a solution to the fact that his job sucks, and just a solution to his life situation. And this man, whenever his woman is being disrespectful to him, he calls her out on it and he draws the line and draws the boundary in a firm but loving way. That way she can't just cross boundaries and she can't disrespect him so that she doesn't get used to it. So you see how there's a huge difference between guy number 1 and guy number 2? You should definitely strive to become like guy number 2 as much as possible. The kind of guy who knows how to handle his shit, and at the same time, you're not gonna completely fall apart when the tough situations in life come your way. Number 5, financial attractiveness. Now, although this is not everything, it is still very important. You see, here's the thing. It's not true that you have to be a millionaire in order to get attractive girls interested in you, but the reverse is true, which means that if you're broke, that will definitely be a problem. Now, a good target that I would aim to achieve, if you're not there already, is to aim to be making $100,000 per year. Now, that's not necessarily a make or break, but it's definitely a good target to aim for because here's the thing. If you make $100,000 a year, you're automatically in the top 15 to 20% of men in terms of income earning potential. Now, that doesn't mean that right now, if you're only making $75,000, that you're an unattractive man. That's not what it means. But I personally would strive to achieve that $100,000 per year mark as much as possible, as best to you as your abilities. And that's, of course, assuming you're living here in the US. If you're living in a different country where that is like 50 times what someone where you are from makes, then that's a completely different story. But I'm talking about people who are from the US. So hearing that, you might be asking, that's great and all, but right now I only make $30,000 a year working in a grocery shop. How am I supposed to achieve that $100,000 per year mark? Good question. The only way to do this is by increasing your value in the job market. Now, there's 2 ways to do this specifically. The first way, if you don't want to go to school, right, meaning go to college or university, what's great to do is to look at technical programs or programs called BOCES, B-O-C-E-S. It's like Board of Cooperational Educational Services. These are things which give you certifications in less than 2 years, like 2 years or less. These are things that get you certified, such as being a hairstylist, being an electrician, being a plumber. Now, some of these jobs can really pay off after those few years, and you could be making decent money. So that is definitely something you can explore if you're currently in a very bad financial situation and at the same time you don't want to attend a 4-year college or university. So I would definitely explore that. And the second way is to find a way to monetize your passion or your several passions. What do I mean by this? Let me give myself as an example. Right now, I'm a content creator. I'm really passionate about helping you achieve success with women and with your life in general, your mindset, your finances, your goals, everything, right? So what I did years ago was double down on these things because I absolutely love them, to the point of having some degree of knowledge, to the point where I can teach it to you right now in front of the camera. And this actually makes me money. I get monetized. I make money from YouTube ads. I make money from clients that come to me and other ways of making money in the future and even more ways. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this in and of itself, but any type of value that you can bring to the table, I would definitely double down on it as much as possible, man. Because here's the thing. Let's say you have humor. You're a very funny guy. Humor in and of itself is of value. People will pay and will tune in to your videos if you make good enough videos and if you do it for a long enough period of time. That is one way you can monetize your services. If you don't necessarily want to become a content creator, which is just one example, you can look into other ways to make money. For example, another way that people make money is by becoming an editor for videos. They study it really heavily, they gain experience for just 1 to 2 years, and they get really good at it, and now they can start monetizing that because people will pay them to edit their videos. If you can do that and freelance your services, you could start monetizing your passion, and therefore you're gonna start making much more money than you were before. If that's not something you're interested in, maybe you can explore something like Amazon dropshipping, digital products, creating merch, and starting a clothing line and selling what you love. The bottom line is, find a way to give value and afterwards, as a byproduct, make money off of doing it. It all comes down to giving value, man. Whether it's having a job, whether it's attending one of those technical programs, whether it's going to college, whether it's becoming a content creator, it all comes down to value, man. So I want to congratulate you, man, on taking the time and effort to watch this video until the very end. Now that you know what to do to totally catapult your attractiveness to women, I challenge you to start following these strategies and implement these changes immediately. Because I guarantee you, as soon as you start implementing these changes consistently, you're going to start seeing results pretty quickly. You're going to start getting eyeballs from women that you never imagined. You're going to start to effortlessly be able to attract and talk to the kind of women you want to, and you'll just feel way better as a man. You'll feel like you just totally upgraded your software to a totally new and improved version of you. So the world is yours, man. Go out and pursue excellence. Peace.